Hi, Megan. It's so wonderful to have you today to talk about the brilliance that you are. And, I'm just so grateful to have you on the team and how you are such an amazing addition to the team. And just right before we started this call, you had an amazing call with a client in energy evolution who had a massive breakthrough. So I think it's such a pertinent thing for viewers to really hear firsthand the work you do and how you change lives through this.
Yes,
So you want to
definitely.
introduce yourself, and then we'll get into the story of the juicy life that has been confirmed in her destiny.
Yes. Well, that's one of the reasons I love doing Vedic astrology so much is just as you just mentioned, is really having that confirmation, that inner knowing of I'm on the right path. And these things that feel somewhat random are actually meant for me. And this is what I'm here for. I love a teacher of mine has always said, like, we're always on the map, even if it feels like we're all over the place, like I'm always on the map. And this is something that Vedic astrology can do too, is really remind us and confirm. I've used the chart in all different ways. Yeah, working with couples around compatibility, remembering their love, working with women around fertility and conception, myself included, working with big business sales, of a business. When's the right time? When is this going to happen? And really finding that harmony in life in many ways. And also for seekers too, and wanting to know what's best path forward.
Yeah. And I love that because I think a lot of people come to Vedic astrology as newbies, not knowing that there's a whole nother system. And, so speaking to Jyotish, which is Vedic astrology, the science of the soul, and why it's such a brilliant technology, because it does truly show us our path in the soul's design in this incarnation and can show us past incarnations.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, it's interesting. So Vedic astrology being from the East, this is coming from the Vedas, so from India too. So these ancient scriptures, and it's from these, I would say meditators, but really from higher beings kind of downloading this information and giving it to us to help to guide us on the path. And it's this whole idea of as above, so below. So we're born, right? We come out of our mother's womb into this life with the planets in these different stars and signs, and they impress upon our being to give us a map for this life. So what are our karmas? What are we here to get through? What are our strengths? What are we coming in with as gifts? And what's going to be before us on the path as our trajectory? And then also, what am I dealing with now that can help? What tools, what things do I need? What's going on here? Let me have some tools to help to guide me on the path. Really can help with such understanding. And that's very much what got me to the path of Vedic astrology personally, was a time of life of like, what the heck is happening? And someone started to share with me, a dear close friend who had studied astrology, Vedic astrology for a long time. Oh, this is happening. And I was like, I felt so seen and almost naked. How did you know? That is exactly it. And it brought a lot of solace to me and understanding.
Yeah. And I know that that's what you bring to your clients. And maybe we can speak about this client that you just were working with in terms of what she's going through and big stuff, right? So like when we're making big choices in life, it can be really confusing and disheartening and scary. And so what's so beautiful about what you do, Megan, is you bring clarity and you bring and illuminate a path forward. All you're doing is reflecting back the gifts and the map and the direction that actually that person was incarnated with.
That's right. And this client that I sat with today is someone brand new to me. I was seeing this person's face for the first time, and yet we're talking about some of their deepest aspects and things that are happening in their life. And, we can see their childhood too. So in this particular situation, this person's going through a breakup. And is this the right thing? Well, yes, we could see that there's a big shift happening for you. And this person is looking at the sale of their business. Well, yes, there's a big shift happening for you. And we're seeing more income and we're seeing more money, and so I love working with people that are on that precipice too. And they're like, I'm riding a wave I don't understand. And we're like, yes, you're riding that wave. Keep riding it. So again, it can bring a lot of confirmation and I think peace. Oh, I don't understand why it's like this right now. Oh, okay, you're confirmed. And again, I love working with women who are on a path of fertility at conception because I've found a lot of fun ways to work with the chart to find the right timing for that. I love to work with people who are, trying to understand the spiritual path, or like in this case today, a professional that's looking at how to move forward with their business and their career.
Yeah. Well, and with love, it's a big thing that she's going through. I know her very intimately, and
Yes.
it's a big thing she's going through. And I'm just so grateful to hear how much you held her and gave her that confirmation so that she can know she's making the best choice for her finally.
Yeah.
Because I think in life we flip-flop and we also get distracted by external stimuli and what people think. And the thing that's about what you do and Vedic astrology is it's all right there. It is yours. And all you're doing is just explaining what's already on their map and what's theirs. And I know I'm reiterating this, but I can't stress enough how important that is in this day and age, because there is so much emotion and energy makes the path sometimes clouded and our minds confused.
That's right. I think it is a lot about pointing us back to ourselves. Just like you said, there's a lot of distraction out there, and there's a lot of ways that I can make someone else right. Someone seeking me out too. I'm just a guide to hold their hand and help to point them back to themselves of their greater knowing, and help them to understand what's been going on. Okay, let's look at this. And how does this resonate for you? I mean, that's the big question. Well, how is that landing? And oftentimes, it's landing well. And we're talking about, what's really inside.
Yeah. And I want to say, folks, for anyone who thinks that they might be like, oh, I'll just figure out Vedic astrology myself. My teacher told me it takes 3 lifetimes to become a Vedic astrologer. And that chart is extremely complicated with a lot of mathematics. And it's amazing what you do, because the seasons that people go through and the shifts, when we have that preparatory path in front of us, there are times to be in pause and there are times to be still. And you illuminate that. My curiosity spikes around the fertility piece.
Yes. I can't remember if I got interested in it before or after this, but I had one client in particular who went to a Vedic astrologer and had a reading. And oh gosh, you have to be so careful too as someone reading someone's chart and soul and path, because this astrologer told this woman that she had a barren womb. And these just are not the words that you ever say to someone. And, this was something that person saw. And this woman went on to have a couple of miscarriages. And we looked, as a dear friend, we looked at her chart and I said, no, this is not the case. Let's look at these particular windows. Okay, I see a window here. I see a window here. And so she let a lot of that go, of this previous experience, and trusted that this was possible for her. And she did conceive and now has a beautiful daughter who's a little bit over a year. And to me, that was one of those like, oh gosh, we have to be, first of all, so careful with our words. Our words are such a spell, and finding those, anything is possible. Let's figure it out. Let's look. And so that was one of my favorite ones. And then I personally used my chart for conceiving with my son. I had a unique situation of having a challenging time for many years and not having a cycle for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And used my chart and also really worked, around my fertility, and just had 2 menstrual cycles and got pregnant. And it was all perfect. It was the exact right timing, and a miracle, and meant to be too.
Wow. Oh, Meghan, I'm so happy that you're on the team. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with viewers who are curious about you?
I would say just that Vedic astrology is something that I deeply love. I have a long history in the health and wellness world and really working on the body. And what's become really important to me in the last several years is how much the soul is so important to our trajectory and our path. And so this is why this area has come to mean so much to me.
I love that. Thank you so much for your work in the world. Thank you so much for your assistance with humanity. And thank you so much for being on this team.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, yeah. And so, folks, when you want to get a hold of Meghan, you will be reaching out to us at Energy Evolution, and we're so excited to have you.